Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 6. Maharshayah saptapurve chatvaro manavastadha madbhava manasa jata yesham loka ima prajaha. So Krishna, in this chapter, which is called Vibhuti Yoga, Krishna's Vibhutis or opulences are mentioned because to enhance attachment and love for Krishna, Krishna is disclosing more confidential knowledge to Arjuna. How he is the origin of everything, everyone. And as part of that, now he is speaking how this life itself originates in this material manifestation, material universes. So in this particular universe, he talks about how, what is the design he has done to start the life. Quite unlike the modern scientific theory that life is nothing but a combination of chemicals, Krishna here he mentions how the universe started, from where it started, from whom it started. So here he says, Maharshayah sapta purve chatvaro manavastadha madbhava manasa jata yesham loka ima prajaha. So Maharshayah saptaha, sapta maharshis, there are 7 great sages. We see the sky also, there is Saptarshi Mandala, the 7 the great stars, where the Saptarshis are supposed to live. So there is Sapta Maharshayaha, and then Purve Chatvaraha, and before them the 4 other great sages, the 4 Kumaras basically, and Manavaha Tadha, the Manus. Prabhupada talks about the 14 Manus, and who are the progenitors of mankind. They're all coming from Brahma. And here Krishna says the 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the Manus, progenitors of mankind, are born out of my mind. And all creatures in these planets descend from them. So Prabhupada is talking about the purport. Is telling in the purport, the Lord is giving a genealogical synopsis of the universal population. So Brahma is the original creature born out of the energy of the Supreme Lord, known as Hiranyagarbha. And from Brahma, all these great sages. So now Krishna is talking about this Maharshaya, Saptapurve, all of those things. They're all born from Brahma. And from Brahma, all the 7 great sages. And before them, the 4 other great sages named Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. And the 14 Manus, they're all manifest. So from Krishna to Brahma, and from Brahma to these 4 Kumaras, the 7 sages, and then eventually the 14 Manus. So totally how many? The 14 Manus, the 7 great sages 21, and the 4 Kumaras 25. So Prabhupada says all these 25 great sages are known as the patriarchs of the living entities all over the universe. They are the original fathers of mankind. There are innumerable universes and innumerable planets within each universe. And each planet is full of population of different varieties. All of them are born of these 25 patriarchs. And Brahma underwent penance for 1000 years of the demigods before he realized by the grace of Krishna, how to create. Then from Brahma, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara came out. Then Rudra came out. Then the seven sages came. And in this way, all the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are born out of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma is known as Pitamaha, the grandfather, and Krishna is known as the Prapitamaha, the father of the grandfather. So, this is the creation. So, now people usually talk about the creation coming from evolving from a single cellular organism, and then gradually it evolves into multicellular, and then a little more complicated, and then a little more complicated, and eventually the human beings come, the most advanced, and so on and so forth. But it is just like, you know, the working codes in the each of these organisms, the cells, are so intricately working. For example, the building blocks of life, the proteins, they have to be made by what we call as ribosomes. And these ribosomes, they read the code. This the DNA is nothing but the code made of four letters A, C, G, and T. They are formed in a particular combination. And these ribosome factories, they read just like a manager reads, oh, this is how you assemble. Oh, let's assemble this. And he gives the order to his workers. Let's assemble this like this. Let's assemble like this. So the based on the assembly code, these ribosomes are reading and producing proteins. And the proteins are the building blocks of life. And if somebody were to alter this code just a little bit, the whole thing changes. Slight change can cause big difference. Different species will have different kinds of combinations. And the most intricate thing in all this is somebody may say, oh, okay, if you just leave this world for millions and billions of years, so it'll all randomly mix and form into this complicated combination of codes. But the thing which bewilders everyone is these ribosomes, which are supposed to produce proteins, are themselves made of proteins. Now you go figure how it is possible. Who has manufactured that original protein, original ribosome? So, if you go down deep into all this, how this life has started, it is mind boggling. If you go down deep into each cell, how it works, it's like a big city inside. So much of complication, but working with precision. Each and every cell is working with precision. How the body, you take our body, how when there is an attack, how the body comes together to protect. Recently, one friend was saying, so there was this doctor, and he was examining a patient who was diagnosed with cancer. And so he was looking at the current condition and said, oh, yeah, your treatment is working. I see that these are receding, the cells are receding. And then he said, apparently, I have not taken any treatment. I've just changed my lifestyle. So that means it's not the treatment, but that is the body that is fighting the cancerous cells. So the body is fully equipped. Who can manufacture a machine which can repair itself? Is there any example of a machine which can repair itself when there is a problem? But Krishna's machine is not like that. Krishna's machine is designed to attack any foreign element. But unfortunately, because of our living, which is against laws of nature, our life of sense gratification, which is not originally designed, so we spoil this machine given by God in unnatural ways. We put all kinds of things and spoil that machine. Otherwise, the machine is self equipped. So, whether there is a blood clot or fighting cancerous cells or intricate mechanism of the cells within, intricate working of the nervous system, there's so many nerves in the body that if you assemble, it will form miles and miles, apparently. But not a single nerve is entangling. If you have ever managed cables, it can become so messy. Or threads, for example, the Gayatri threads, if you don't carefully bind it, it can become so entangled, a small length of that thread. And in the body, intricately, these nerves are working without ever getting entangled. And if there is an injury, all of that is automatically rebuilt. You see? So there is so much of science inside. And denying that there is an intelligence behind the codes, the DNA is nothing but the codes, the intelligent codes embedded within each of us to tell the ribosomes how to build the proteins. There is a if there is a program, it is just like you leave a computer to a monkey and the monkey keeps typing for eternity. You will get a perfectly compiled code with intricate intelligence of all these things, how the cells are working, how the DNA is working, how the body is fighting, how the nerves are arranged. It is just mind boggling to deride all of these things. That there is an intelligence behind this. There is a creator who has created each and every body intricately according to somebody's desires. Based on our desire, we get a body. Krishna has prepared that body. In this body, if you want to just eat anything and everything, you take the body of a hog. You want to eat and mate indiscriminately. So why you want to waste a human body? Just like a parent. Why would he waste why would he waste his money in buying a scientific calculator for a child who is not very developed in his mind? He would as well give a toy calculator. You play with this. It's not expensive. So there are different lives, different. If one wants to just enjoy sleeping, there are people like that, isn't it? Oh, sleeping is happiness. We used to see in colleges where we study all the time. Oh, just want to sleep 24 hours. So then you will be given the body of a koala bear. 22 hours it sleeps in a day. You don't have to struggle in a human body, which is unnatural. In human body, excessive sense gratification is unnatural. You see, a human cannot eat unlimitedly, cannot mate unlimitedly, isn't it? We cannot even laugh unlimitedly, isn't it? So everything is made in moderation in human body so that we don't get addicted to anything in this life. Our purpose is athato brahma jignasa. So all these bodies are designed intricately based on the desires, based on the abilities, and only human body is designed for athato brahma jignasa, higher inquisitiveness, inquiring into absolute truth. That is why the human body is given. If we misuse the human body again, we go down to the animal species based on our consciousness at the time of death. Why Bhagavad Gita is always asking, why in our movement we say always chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The reason is so that when we remember, when we chant, when we hear, we remember Krishna. We hear the name Krishna. So at the time of death, if we are accustomed by our practice and by the blessing of Krishna, then yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, and whatever we think, whatever is the state of our consciousness, that state we will attain. If our consciousness is like that of a devotee, we go back to the spiritual world where there are only devotees, where there is no janma mrityu jara vyadhi. But if we cultivate material consciousness, how to eat well, how to mate well, how to enjoy well, how to earn well, of course, if somebody dies, their consciousness is completely messed up. They cannot happily think. They are in a state of turbulence. In that state, whatever is our natural thing we think, whatever we cultivated, whatever gives us pleasure, we go to that. Just like Putana, she tried to imitate herself as a beautiful damsel, young girl. But the moment she was put under distress by Krishna, her life was being sucked away by Krishna, she displayed her original self, the demoniac self. So you can only put up a show for some time, but when you are under threat, when you are attacked, when you are when you, especially at the time of death, whatever you practiced, whatever is your inclination, whatever is your natural way of mind, it will come out. So we have to practice thinking like a devotee, acting like a devotee, chanting the holy names. So of course, the scientists they argue that oh, all of this is we cannot prove how God exists, how God has designed. You cannot prove, but if you have intelligence, you can see, isn't it? Anybody who has intelligence and logic, they can see how all these things. You just like you pour an ink, spray an ink from the top, and it'll give rise to a beautiful book full of meaning, poetry, pages and pages of literature. For eternity, you keep on throwing the ink. It's just like that. Our logic is, the Bhagavad Gita logic is much more superior, much more logical to understand. Like Krishna says, Dehinosmin yadha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. Such a beautiful logic Krishna is saying. Just like we pass in this life from the body of a baby to that of a boy or a girl, to that of a youth, to that of a middle aged person, to that of an old person, the soul similarly passes on to another body at the time of death. A sober man is not bewildered by such a change, isn't it? One time I was distributing books, Prabhupada's books, and I was trying to tell somebody, showing a picture of reincarnation. And they said, "Oh, do we reincarnate at the end of life? We get another body?" I said, "Yes." "No, I don't believe in it," she said. Then I said, "Okay, you are looking like this, a young woman, but when you were a baby, did you look like this? No. When you are a young girl, small girl, did you look like this? No. Where is that body gone?" And she was completely awestruck. She never thought like that. But you are the same person, isn't it? If I tell you, oh, you're a different person, you won't believe it. You are the same person. Intrinsically, you know about it. But your body has completely changed. So, of course, the scientists, they say, okay, it's just a combination of chemicals that is giving rise to is consciousness. But if I were to give two bodies, one dead body and one living body, the living body is sleeping, but the dead body is dead. They are lying in two parallel beds. The living body comes up and talks, but the dead body does not. Why? Because the soul is gone. If you say the combination of chemicals, yes, the same combination is there in both the bodies. If you really believe in that theory, then produce life out of combination of chemicals. Yesterday, I was hearing a conversation with Srila Prabhupada and disciples. Prabhupada was making the point. If you believe that life is produced of chemicals, then you produce life. Where is the science means there is theory and then there is experiment. If you are theorizing that life is nothing but combination of chemicals, then you do the experiment and show the proof that you cannot do. And then some disciple, they said, Prabhupada, but they are saying, they can put a test tube and they can produce life, something like that. So Prabhupada said, with all your intelligence, you produce one life, but Krishna, he is producing every day millions and millions of jivas, millions and millions of bodies. So what is your credit? You're creating one life. God is already creating. You're just taking and creating some l- situation for a living entity to come and take shelter. But the point is that without the soul, the body cannot develop. The man and woman unite, the sperm and the egg, they unite. But unless the spirit soul comes and takes shelter, it does not grow. There is no conception. There is no baby. The sperm has to be injected with spirit soul. That is happening by karmana daiva netrena, Bhagavatam says. Jantur dehopapattaye. Based on the karma, a soul is sent to a particular man's body, and through that sperm, it is released into the woman's womb. If the soul needs to get a human body, they'll be placed in a man's sperm. If the soul needs to get an animal body, it will be placed in the animal's sperm. It is happening by divine arrangement. It is not chance. There is no chance. Chance means you don't know. That's all. The scientists, if they propose, oh, by chance, this theory is working, we say, oh, you are not a scientist. Then why do we accept that by chance this life came about? And there is so much intricate thing is working. By chance, this traffic lights are working. By chance, this sun and the stars and the planets are intricately revolving, and light is coming, the solar energy is being produced day and night, and seasons are happening with immaculate precision. So it is not chance, it is the design, the intelligence of Krishna. And Krishna using Brahma and these 25 patriarchs, he progenites, they are the progenitors of mankind, and they fill the universe with different species. So the origin of life is from Krishna, from Brahma, the highest intelligent being, not from a unicellular organism coming from random combination of matter. It's the other way around. Brahma produces these Prajapatis, and Prajapatis produce different kinds of species. They're all coming into existence from the beginning because different living entities who were wound up into the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu and eventually Mahavishnu, their proclivities are given vent again. If you were a cat at the time of devastation, again you will come back as a cat to continue your proclivities. And gradually you will have to take the species, 8,400,000 species are there before 8 million species are there before we can get the human body. Starting with Jalaja Navalakshani, Sthavara Laksha Vimshati, aquatics, trees, the, the animals, the reptiles, the birds, the beasts, and then eventually the humans. So this is the origin of life. And this is what Krishna is saying. It's all coming from me. This is my opulence. This is my intelligence. And the important thing to note, you should read the purport, the later part of the purport, where Brahma talks about, or Prabhupada talks about tapasya. Brahma underwent penance for 1000 years of the demigods before he realized by the grace of Krishna how to create. So penance is needed. Tapasya is needed for revelation. Just like Brahma, when we engage in devotional service, tapasya for us means devotional service, serving Krishna. Then Krishna will reveal how we can come out of this material world. So service for us, just like Brahma, he did tapasya. When we do tapasya in the form of service, Krishna will reveal more knowledge. Not knowledge of how to enjoy senses, but how we can remain Krishna conscious, how we can perform wonderful service for the spiritual master and Krishna, how we can go back to Godhead. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai.